Hi creatives, Lauren Elizabeth here. Welcome back to Style Week. If you're new, this is where I help creatives master technique and unlock their style in animal art. And so today is video 4 in this free workshop called Style Week, where we learn about the do's and the don'ts when it comes to unlocking your style. We've been learning about the creative process. We've been learning about creating authentic originals. We've been learning about exploration and how we can use it to guide our style. And tomorrow is day 5. It's the last video in this workshop. You don't want to miss it because it's like the grand finale. If you've missed any of them, I will link them in the description below. But going back to video 2, when we focus on consistent input, we get consistent output. And so this is when we begin to see a pattern when we focus on one original, authentic at a time, giving our best and following these guidelines, which is why we turn to the elements and principles of art to help us create harmonious, well-balanced compositions. So what exactly are these elements and principles? Well, the elements make up the visual components, okay? So that's lines, shape, texture, color, form, and space. There's 7 of them. Now, the principles of art, on the other hand, include emphasis, movement, patterns, variety, rhythm, balance, and emphasis. The elements are the tools. The principles are the rules. Now, the goal isn't to use all of them in one original painting or drawing, although you can. You can also just use one of them. But when you use them to create well-balanced, authentic originals, you want to achieve these 3 things. You want to place the elements, you want to use the particular principles in a way that you find visually appealing, okay? Because we're being guided by what we like. We're also being guided by what we don't like, going back to that personal shape. And also, you're the one who decides when this is finished, so you would need to at least like it. You don't have to love it, but you need to at least like what it looks like. The second thing we want to achieve when using these guidelines is a technique that is exciting, that's fun, that we can keep on repeating. A method of creating art using your medium or mediums that both challenges you, okay, because we want to constantly be evolving and improving, but also isn't so challenging that you get overly frustrated, you become overwhelmed too quickly because it's too challenging. And the third thing you want to achieve is using these elements and principles to express a very personal, intentional message or theme. Again, this just proves my point about how we combine that inner world with our outer world and those familiar practice techniques. And you can see how intentional and thoughtful and meaningful this process is. I'll give you a great example. And this is one of the pieces I made, the first of its kind, where I altered the eyes, where it's 2 different colored eyes, also different colored fur. And this was a piece I created using colored pencils about 2 years after I made the decision during addiction recovery to create art every morning and night while listening to things like sermons and TED Talks, watching painting tutorials. When I was absolutely craving answers and just feeling completely stuck and trapped in addiction, I had actually learned in that time that our brains are still very plastic well into our age, not just when we're children, that we have the ability to change our brains based on how we think. And so I had this hope put in me that I did have more control over addiction, over depression, over anxiety. That hope that I had really inspired me to create art very consistently, improving my skills and building my confidence as an artist, while feeding my mind with the good things, renewing my mind. And at the time of making this colored pencil dachshund, a dog breed that I absolutely loved, that's when I started seeing the behaviors change. I always think of the eyes as being like a gateway to someone's soul. You can really see what's inside by looking at their eyes. And at the time of this drawing, I was expressing that true freedom I was experiencing for the first time. Freedom from addiction because of what I was doing every single day, just dwelling on the good things, dwelling on the truth. So since that dog drawing, and since I've been recovered for the last 8 years, and only grown in hope through the many different struggles I've been through since then, this has been that reoccurring message, my artistic point of view. And if I had to put it to words, it would be that healing starts from the inside out. So that, my friends, leads to our first style do. Be intentional and be vulnerable. People connect better with imperfect human beings because it fosters relatability, trust, authenticity, and acceptance. I go back to that ugly phase, I like to call it. Our struggles, those struggles that maybe we brought upon ourselves or that found us, they bring out emotions that can cause us to move, to act. It can lead us to those never again moments. Or if we choose, it can lead us down a darker road, a more desperate road where we're hopeless. And I just want to encourage you. I wish I could take your shoulders and shake you and say, there's always hope. There is always hope. No matter how deep you're in it right now, or a friend or a family member, there is always hope. And we have so much power and just by how we think, feel, and choose. So I hope, my friends, that you can choose to believe that there are good things ahead, that there's a bright future ahead, and you can channel all that into your artwork and a message that you can share to help someone. So I say, let those flaws come out in your art. Dictate the colors you choose, the emotion you're trying to express, how you use contrast, if you decide to use movement, or the things you want to emphasize in your work. When we recognize that we're all human and we all make mistakes, this fosters empathy. This fosters relatability and connection. And that leads to my style don't. Don't overthink it. Keep it simple. Sometimes overthinking it can create that unnecessary pressure that creates even more of a block, that can be discouraging, that can deter us from even creating art in the first place, and we don't want that. So as deep as I can get in my art, you don't have to get that deep. It can be something way more simple. It can be something just expressing your thankfulness, trying to encourage people to be more thankful. It can just be something that brings you joy in your culture, that brings you joy in your family that you want to share in your art. Or it could be something, a hard lesson you learned from cancer recovery or divorce, grief. Stay curious about the things that make you angry, that make you sad, that move you to tears like nothing else. And don't repress it, don't suppress it, don't ignore it, but instead do a little doodle, write in your journal, make a poem, color in your sketchbook, go for a little treasure hunt and grab things from outside that really resonates with how you're feeling, what you're learning, and how you're thinking. All right, creatives, so for our challenge today and reflection, I'm going to help you write your artist statement. It's a written description of your work, explaining your creative process, your motivations, your influences, and your intentions. But doing this can be so helpful because it can help you assess your work, give you clarity on your current style or the style you want to achieve. It can also give you more descriptive words on the how and the why of your work and your creative process, which in turn can help you better define your target audience, that group of people that your artwork and your style was meant for. And not to mention, you can use this later on, maybe when you're applying to different art competitions or exhibitions or even galleries. So first we're going to start doing a reflection, just writing whatever comes to mind, and then we're going to write the actual statement. Okay, you ready? So why do you like to make art? Why do you do what you do? What techniques do you use and why? What are your goals and your aspirations as an artist? And who or what inspires you? Why do they inspire you? How would you describe your current artist style? And what would you like to see more of in your artwork? Take time to reflect and write whatever comes to mind. There's no judgment here. And then we will begin paragraph 1. Keep in mind, an artist statement is between 100 and 500 words, broken up into, yes, 3 paragraphs, and must not exceed 1 page. Paragraph 1. So this first line of your paragraph 1 is like your thesis statement. You explain in that first line the who, the what, and the why. So who are you? What is it that you create? And why do you do the work you do? Paragraph 2. This is where we focus on your technique, your process, and the materials you use. So, what are your preferred mediums or medium? What are the main repeated techniques that you use? What or who are your art influences, and why do they inspire you? Describe an example of your work and how it encompasses the first line of paragraph 1. Okay, that thesis statement. Paragraph 3. Here we are on the concluding paragraph where we talk about what are you exploring. In other words, are you exploring a new medium, new techniques? How are you evolving as an artist? And lastly, what are your upcoming projects? Any exhibitions? And there you have it. Put that all together and you have your artist statement, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you tomorrow in video 5 of Style Week. Bye.